what you want to do. We just want to. Okay.
So the life with the kids, right? Being married, you have 3. Y'all just have 1. Like, how was that? Because for us, it's lovely.
That's what I told Bianca the other day. Yep.
Enjoy.
I will. And stop asking us to.
I promise. You know what? I thought about it earlier today when I knew I was coming over. Y'all like, you know what? Maybe I should ask them just put it on out there and y'all gonna do some cheering. You know what? Tiffany, don't encourage that kind of don't push that.
No.
Let them enjoy every moment. Every moment. The fact that you can come and go when you please without packing a bag, without finding a babysitter, without well, what you gonna eat? No. To be able to do for you.
Yes.
You be selfish.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Yes. That's what it is, selfish. Because when you have kids, you give up selfishness.
God,
it's always about them.
Don't get me started.
But you know what? Honestly, I think it's selfish on both, right? And I only say that because really, I would say a lot of, I guess, the pressure I was getting about kids would come from my coworkers. They're Filipinos, so they believe in having kids a lot. And so they were like, "Oh, when you have kids, we kids." And so one of the ladies, she was like, "You're selfish. You don't want to have kids." I'm like, "No, you're selfish for bringing kids into this crazy world." And because like her thing was, who's gonna take care of you when you get older? Like, that's selfish in itself. You're planning for your future. You're gonna have kids, so they make sure someone can take care of you when you go. That's selfish too. So it's selfish. It's just which selfish do you want to deal with? Do you want to have the selfish of being able to come and go as you please, or do you want the selfish of
I need someone to
take care of me, or I want to have
baby.
I want to have baby. I want to have the family. I want someone to take care of, or the responsibility, or to be able to come home and someone runs to me and say,
or to feel loved. I've heard women say, I want to have a baby to feel loved.
Right.
I didn't want a baby for any of those reasons.
Right.
I kind of it just
happened.
Yeah. It kind of happened, but when it happened, though, I was okay with it. Right. I never not wanted to be a mom. So, and with me, I had both of my kids before I got married. So it was like, well, we're gonna do this. It's life, So it was never like, oh, I want to feel. I have a great family and I have a great support system. So that also made it easier for me to say, okay, I can have these babies because I got mommy, I got grandma, I got aunts, I have cousins. So it made it easier for me to do that.
Right.
And I always already felt love. I didn't need that love from a child, but I would love to give it to them.
Right.
I would love to be able to say, I did that. It's just an accomplishment to see your kids grow up and
now that's what it is.
Be wonderful.
It's an accomplishment. It's a selfish, yet and still.
Yes.
Look what I did.
Right.
I raised this human being that can function out in this world, and he's okay.
Right.
I accomplished that. I kept him alive. I kept him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
He's educated. He's not gonna go out there and fin on somebody else's.
Selfish.
And that's funny that you say that because being a teacher, I don't need that as a mom. Like, I feel like when I see kids, when they come in with me and they're one way, not hardly knowing anything, and then I teach them, I'm not only teaching them reading skills or math or whatever, I'm teaching them life skills.
Yes, you are.
Along with their mothers.
Absolutely.
But when they leave me, I know, like you said, I did that.
That's right.
I helped to grow that child's education.
That's right.
So I think that's...
Only thing is, we are there for 18 plus years.
Right.
Where next year you get a whole nother set of folks.
Right.
That you got to, and put some knowledge in their head.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the only difference. But yeah, you putting forth the same effort as anybody else.
What do you need? I'm gonna leave.
Joshua is. I love my baby. Love him. But he's more like me in ways that I'm okay with. Okay? But part of that is my fault. I was 7 months pregnant, literally sitting in the middle of my bed, rubbing my belly like some type of voodoo doll. Lord, let him be just like me. Let him be just like me. Let him.
Why did you do that?
Why?
And he was like, you know what? I got you.
I did not write that vision.
Magic fingers.
No, you didn't.
I did not write that vision, nor did I make it plain. Okay? I should have sifted a little bit. You know, he is just as stuff as me. He's loving, sour patch. But he's different, just a little different. Loving to no end. Our story is different only because, like you said, I had him before I got married. His father passed away when he was 2. And at that point, I was left to be single mama for real. And it's crazy because we were planning to get married. I bought my wedding dress. I picked up my wedding dress the same weekend he died.
Jesus.
Just like that. So it's it's weird coming from a single parent mindset into a building family. And now my situation is back to single parent mindset. I feel like I'm being tangled, pulled and tugged. That's my frustration. Would I change anything? No. Because everything is a learning lesson.
Right.
Everything. And that's part of the reason why I treat my husband with the respect that I do. Like I said, I treat him, he is my
He's
king.
your king, yeah.
I treat him as such because of what I've been through. You lose somebody like that.
Yeah.
It puts some stuff into perspective. Everything ain't worth the fight. Everything ain't worth the pulling out the claws. Everything ain't worth all that. So, wait a minute. Let me woosah. Yeah, let's talk.
Right.
And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
It really
sure
does. And like you said, it just brings things into perspective. And like bedroom conversation, but not a couple of weeks, I think it was Sunday. Me and Chris was laying in the bed and we were talking. He was like, I'm about to go on the road, so come on and give it up. And I'm like, what does going on the road have to do with me? I don't want to. I want to go to sleep.
Let's get it happen. Let's make it happen. It's because it's not a priority. Sometimes it can become an issue in our marriage. I'm trying to no fluff. Hold on.
Yep, no fluff.
I'm trying to keep things into perspective. What's important? What's a necessity versus the extras? And by him feeling as though it's an extra, it's not a necessity. Does my husband tell me I'm beautiful every day? Every day. I get the text messages, baby, I love you. My husband is a poet. And he can write some stuff.
Yeah, go follow him. Go ahead and follow him. What's his
Hennessy J.
Hennessy J, that's right.
He can write some things that make you be like, boy.
So then you be ready.
Ready. He ain't do nothing but open up the floodgates and then put a fence all around it. What?
Right.
He just stopped it, just blocked it.
Who does that? But it's a marriage, like I was saying earlier. It's work. is
Yes,
real.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Somebody, I told one of my girlfriends when I first got engaged, girl, I'm getting married. She was like, get you an iPhone, just like that. Like, don't even walk down that aisle.
She said, "Get you an iPhone."
Get you an iPhone. Don't get married.
Wow.
Get an iPhone. Literally, it'll treat you better. That's what she said.
Oh.
With a little less.
I got an iPhone. It don't do what he do.
Amen. And I got one. No,
Right.
don't do the
Not an
same
iPhone
thing.
fan, but it still can't do what my husband.
Right. Hey. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Marriage is hard.
Yes, it is.
Constant sacrifice of yourself. Constant sacrifice.
Do you think marriage would be easier if you didn't have kids?
Yes.
Why?
The reason I would say that is because when it's just, now granted, me and my husband, it's never been just me and him. When I came into a relationship with him, he already had a child. So for me, looking inside out of our own relationship, if it was just me and him, I think our level of respect, communication, love, everything would have been on a total different level, because now it's just me and you. I don't have to focus on Jaleel, Jada, and Kira, because when they come into play, as a mom, and I know this is not how it states in the Bible, it's to be your husband, the Lord, your husband, your kids. But in reality, your kids come before your husband, because their needs have to be met. They can't go out there and do it for themselves. Your husband can, but them 3 kids can't. So my thing is, I have to make sure that everything that's dotted for them before I can dot or cross a T for you. That's me personally. I know some women don't feel that way, but for me, my children are my world. I have to make sure that they are okay. And when I'm done, I work on you. And then, unfortunately, I'm last. So whatever little bit of space and time that I need for me, I may only get 20 minutes of that. My time is usually in the shower before I have to go to bed because I don't get that. It's all day them, a good minute of you, shower, then you again, then sleep, then back at them, you know? So if it's no them and it's just me and you, imagine how much I can center myself and get myself together so that I can be that perfect woman for you. But I can't do that because I have to worry about them 3 first.
Right.
So I can't be that perfect, that everything you want, because I have to deal with other things.
Which is why you will understand if he did the one-hitter quitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. Don't go out there, Christopher. Don't go out there and do nothing.
Chris,
Right.
Chris, you cannot come and stay here because she mad at me. She cannot be mad at us because we let you come. But
I'm just saying it can be understandable when, and like I said, you put so much on your plate that sometimes he might fall off.
right.
And then somebody else is gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
And if I don't pick it up real quick, somebody else is gonna pick it up. You know?
See, I understand that because even like, even before, we got married, I didn't want a woman with a kid because, for one, I didn't want one of my own. That's one. 2, you're not going to give your son or daughter more attention than me. Like, I'm sorry, I have to come first. Like, I know that's your child, but I'm the potential husband or husband. Like, so like, if we can't agree on that, then sorry. That's why, So guys like Jersey Mike or, like you, that y'all get into a relationship with someone, it works. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I'm
hard.
just saying for me,
It's hard, but it works.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I already know it's gonna be hard.
It's added
I
pressure.
I wouldn't even jump in that because I'm like, I already know. Because I already like you. We can't go see Avengers because Tyshawn, your mama don't want to watch Tyshawn. All right.
Y'all see what I gotta do?
Let me go back on Plenty of Fish and see what Keisha 983 gonna talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like
having would our marriage be different without our child? Yes, 100% different. Most of our arguments are because of the Josh.
Because you spoil him?
He would consider me to be the weakest link. Yes.
Okay.
He is my one and only. I do not plan on doing it again. No. My hat goes off to you. 3. One was enough. Now, at one point, I wanted another baby. Why? Because I feel like everybody, man or woman, wants to see their offspring.
Right.
Wants to see what it could look like, what it could do. So I, as a wife, wanted to give my husband a child. He kind of felt like you. That ain't even my desire. I don't even really care. It don't even really matter to me. I put that pressure on myself unnecessarily. Michael being of Haitian culture, their upbringing is different than Southern upbringing.
Okay.
Do we respect? Yeah. They are much stricter than we are. You walking a tightrope with them. I feel like Michael's presentation or his bark is hard, rough. It's no wavering, and it can cut hard. And I'm like, I'm mom.
Yeah, so you
I'm mom.
And it's yours.
And it's mine.
That's a good point too.
I'm mama first though.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it was his and we coming into it, that nurturing part of me is like, whoa, wait, that hurt. We're not doing that. Wait.
I'm still doing a thing.
At the beginning of our relationship, his presentation bothered me to the point where I would interject right at that moment. We ain't doing that. That was when I had to wait a minute, hold on, bring it a step back. That's still your king, Tiffany. Keep it in perspective. You cannot override him as a man, the man of your household, the husband. You cannot override him directly in front of your child. No. If you have an issue, if there's a problem with the presentation, you don't agree with exactly what he said, that's why y'all have a bedroom. Close the door. Let's have a conversation. We're going to have to come to a compromise on this one.
And I think that's, somewhat, not that I'm y'all judge, but I think that's somewhat right. Because even okay, growing up, my mama and daddy had different types of, I guess approaches to things, and I think now one of the reasons why I would say I am we're going to use this term, afraid of the dad thing is because I feel like I would definitely lean more towards like my dad. My dad he's quiet. If you ever met my dad, he's quiet, he's nice, but when he speaks, that's it. So my mom was, she did more barking. She would fuss, whatever. My dad came in, that was it. And so I think I would lean more towards that. And so kind of going back to what she was saying, like growing up, my mama would say, like, if I piss my mama off, she gonna say whatever, basically.
That's good.
So it's like, she barking or whatever. So maybe my dad did say something, like maybe you shouldn't have said it, maybe whatever. But for me, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear like, nah, no, well, you shouldn't do that. He might have said it in the bedroom. But to me, as a child, I'm like, you just gonna let her, you gonna let that, you think this is right? In my mind. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, I'm not your judge, I'm just saying, like, I get it. Just like, that's what their reason was, like, okay, we're husband and wife, we're gonna talk about this in the room. But in front of me, it's like, now that wasn't right. And as an adult, of course, I grow up and learn, like, Mom, that wasn't right. But she probably got that same story, but it was in the bedroom in front of me.
Right.
But in my mind, I still maybe hold that against my mama versus it was dealt with properly in front of me, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And so, like,
it's fixed already.
Right. As husband and wife, you can't override each other not in front of that child.
Right.
You can't do it. It leaves the child opportunity to play all against each other.
Right.
And that is 100% true. And I think that is what happened between me, my husband, and my stepson. But see, then there's also his mom. And it's like, to me, he plays, well, which parent am I going to get today? And I got 3 of them that I can mess with to see who I'm going to mess with to get they riled up or get something confused. And it's like, to me, it's like as he gets older, it just gets worse. And then what also makes it bad is that he has 3 parents that have a very hard time communicating together. So that makes it even worse because we put a 10-year-old in charge of explaining things to 3 parents.
Wow.
Which makes it worse I'm sure it makes it worse in their eyes, but it definitely makes it worse in my eyes. So I'm like, I really feel bad that you have to do this because my daughters don't have to go through that. Their parents are both right here, where you have to go to another house and explain something that happened over here, instead of the parents being mature and picking up the phone and talking about things. And I think that's what makes it worse. And that is like you said, your son's job, that is ours. And it's not only just him, it's them, it's us, it's him, and then it's 2 more kids that kind of get left out sometimes because, well, y'all always talking about that one. What's going on over here? So it gets really, when people say blended families are beautiful when they work.
Yes.
When they don't work, it's horrible. It's a nightmare.
It is.
And for me, and again, I was young when I met Chris. I was 19 when I met Chris. So for me, I didn't think of those things. I was just thinking, it's the baby. He's cute. He's a toy. I can dress him up, bring him around with me wherever I go. But then as I got older and things started getting real, it was too late. I'm already attached. I'm already in love with his father. I'm already in love with him. I feel like he's my first child, even though I didn't give birth to him. But it's hard. And I tell my best friend all the time, she doesn't. She's not. Do not date anybody with children because it's a whole nother level of maturity that most people can't. I'm still trying to deal with, and it's been 10 years. And it's hard when you can't communicate.
And it's even harder when there's another adult around. Our situation where Joshua's father is not there. It's gonna sound horrible, but
that's a plus.
That's a plus.
Huge plus.
As horrible as that sounds, that's a plus because there's not another input.
Exactly.
There's just us. it's enough. It's complicated enough with just us. If there were another person, God knows.
Right. Because then you be dealing with the two alpha males. Like, no, this my son.
Right.
I know he stay with me, and then
So okay, backstory. Joshua's father has another son, an older son. So when I came into his father's life, there was already a kid. He also is a little different. So that apple didn't fall too far from the tree either. They are similar in ways. And the same stuff that drove me crazy about his brother is the same stuff that drive me crazy about him. Same stuff. And his mother and I. It's a church house.
There's no Fluff TV too.
I despise her.
Yep, despise.
Like a waste of flesh.
You said a waste.
A waste of flesh.
She said.
And dealing with her during the time
When he passed away.
right. I came this close.
And now, was it this close or like this close?
No. I can't like that. That close. They're catching real life charges. Real life charges. It's that was a mess. So I my hat goes off to you to dealing with somebody difficult for no reason. Difficult.
My hat go off to both of y'all.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Because we don't have to deal with none of
We
that.
got
Exactly.
kids involved.
That's what I said. It's a beautiful thing.
Please enjoy
It's
it for
a
me.
beautiful thing.
Do it for me.
I mean, I
Sitting
think you
here all
guys would be
quiet.
great parents, though. I
really do. I really think
But
that y'all will
if,
bring
but if you
forth some
don't want to do
beautiful babies.
that, enjoy your time together.
Please.
And you
This
know
is a
another
beautiful
thing,
thing.
even with us though, like seriously, you know, y'all talk about like support. You know, the support system you talking about. We don't have that.
Right.
Like, it's really just us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like we have a hard time getting friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just my niece here. Well, I got two nieces here, but I hardly see them.
My family's out of town.
My
His
family's
family's
out of town, so it's not like grandma's around or nothing like that. So,
I get it.
you know, it's much more difficult. It's like, you know, with our schedules, she work, she got her business, I work, I got a little business. Like, we don't have time, you know, for a kid. And like, who gonna raise the kid? Like,
Y'all gonna raise the kid.
And not only that, but pay for them.
pay for them too.